So let's look at how to do self-muscle testing. You don't have anybody around perhaps, and you want to be able to self-test a belief. Maybe one's come up in a situation, you're going into a meeting and you're feeling that something's limiting inside you, and you want to go off in a room or go off in the park and change some beliefs, and you want to know, well, what's the belief that's weak here? So you're going to create a belief statement, whatever that is for you, and then you want to be able to test it. Is this my subconscious mind supporting this or not? You want to go through the protocol of changing the belief, which you'll be taught here, and then you want to make sure that it's strong at the end. And I've just been doing one way that I use, and I'll teach you that one in a moment. The self-testing for people, because you are attached to the outcome, because it's your belief and you're using your own muscles, it can be difficult. So it's a practice to learn how to self-test. If someone else is testing your arm and they're pushing down on your arm, it's more objective. If they're testing your belief, you're not going to be interfering with that. But again, you don't always have somebody else around. So you want to learn how to do this, practice this. And what you could also do is you could practice some self-testing on some things yourself, and then verify it maybe with someone else testing your arm to make sure and see how accurate you are with your self-testing relative to someone else testing you based on the other video. So let's get into self-testing on some various ways. And what I'd like you to do is just practice and find one or two of these that seems to work for you really well, and continue to use it. And even if the self-testing doesn't work, you don't feel it's working for you, you can still do the whole process. You can still change your beliefs. You're just not going to be able to get that conscious verification that, oh, it's done or not. But you'll feel different. You will start to move differently in your life, and you'll see whether you've got an outcome based on what happens in your life or not. So let's look at a few different forms of self-testing. One that some people really like is what's called a sway test, or using the whole body movement as a test. And in this case, you're just going to allow your subconscious mind to move your body in terms of a yes or a no. What's a strong or weak? So you could just get centered, put your feet flat on the floor, maybe shoulder width apart, and then you could close your eyes if you want. Maybe it's eyes open, but you close your eyes and say, subconscious mind, show me a yes. And for me on this test, I always fall forward. Subconscious mind, show me a yes, and I just kind of fall forward. You could move to the side or backwards. Notice what your subconscious mind wants to do when you're coming from that stable place, an open place, and curious place. Show me a yes, and you might fall forward like me. And then do show me a no or show me a weak, and I fall back as soon as I do this. So then once you know that, you could test your name. My name is Richard, and I get a yes. My name is Julie, and I fall backwards. So this is the way that you could test, both do a calibration with yourself and testing those three things we talked about in the other muscle testing your feeling, testing your name, and testing a yes, 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 and no, 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 using this in each of the other processes that I'm going to teach you. So check that out. Do you get clear and consistent responses? Are you, for something that should be true, when you test that with, I live in Calgary, for me, do I fall forward or do I fall backward? Is it consistent? And if it is, you'll have a test that works really well for you. Now, the sway test, that test isn't always the most convenient way. If you're sitting in a train, do you have to stand up and you've got some other motion going on and you want to change a belief, maybe you're on a flight, it may not be that convenient. But you want to be able to use this process everywhere, be able to change your beliefs wherever you are as they come up. So some simple other ways to do it are using hands, and many people use their hands for this. Now, one way to use hands for this, two hands, is to take one hand, one finger, and form a circle with first finger or a couple of them like this. And you're going to put that circle there, and then you're going to push through. A strong, holding that steady and pushing through, a strong would mean a solid, it wouldn't move through, and a weak would go through. So my name is Richard, and I usually have my eyes down when I'm doing this, but it may work, it'll probably work for you anyway. So my name is Richard, my name is Julie. Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. So you be able to test the belief. I love myself. I get a strong for that. It doesn't release and let go. A weak would mean, oh, that belief isn't strong. And then if it's not strong, take it into the change protocol and put the new belief in your subconscious mind. Now, another way that people can use a single-handed one is they use their fingertips like this. Pretend that this finger is, say, an arm, and you're using this to push down on it, and you're just pressing down. Does it move? A weak go down, or does a weak or a strong stay steady? Do you have a difference this way? And some people will just use this way if a strong just stays on top and a weak just goes like this. So it's this kind of movement. This one doesn't work so well for me, so I don't use this one. I don't have the sensitivity, but this might be really good. Way for you to work with strongs and weaks and testing that way. And what does work for me really well, and you can do this on a tabletop or you can do it on your chest. I often put it just on my chest and consider this as your arm, this particular finger as your arm, and you're pushing down on it down towards your chest. And a strong would stay steady and strong, and a weak would move down. So you could test it that way. My name is Richard, my name is Julie, and it goes down lower. I don't know if you want another angle on this. So a strong would stay steady, and a weak would move down. So you could say a belief statement, and if it stays steady and upwards, then it's a strong. If it moves down, it's a weak. And you can also do that, like I said, on a tabletop as another way to do it. And again, calibrate. Use just the amount of pressure that you need on each of these tests, these self-tests, to make sure you feel a strong and a weak. And it may be just a subtle difference. Push a little lighter or push a little harder, and test that out with strongs and weaks, with something that should be strong or should be weak, your name versus someone else's name, to get the right pressure down and make sure you're connected with the belief and before you do the test. And you might have other methods that you're aware of that you can test beliefs. If you have and are comfortable with pendulums, you could use a pendulum. I've got a pendulum in my pocket. You could use that kind of process. And a yes for me, the pendulum goes this way, and a no goes that way. And so whatever you're comfortable with in a pendulum, again, may take some practice. So that's how to do self-testing, to test beliefs, to do the calibration, to make sure you're getting a strong or weak signal when you're self-testing. Again, practice. Maybe get some verification with someone testing you through an objective test to see if you get the same answers when someone else is testing you, and then move forward to change your beliefs, verify what's weak, and then find out what's weak for you in terms of belief, and then verifying once you've done the process that it's now strong and your subconscious mind has accepted the change.